Uncle Fred, I'll come to you. I see Uncle Fred, I see our pictures. Okay, Brother Sammy, we'll come there.
Thank you very much. All protocol duly observed. I think I've come out my glasses for eye contact. Actually, my friend Shatta Wale is sitting next to me. He's quite talkative, so he was talking when they were bringing me around. So I But on a more serious note, Your Excellency, I would like to personally say thank you very much for calling us here. And one very important thing is that most of us don't get to see each other because of how our schedules are. So it's very difficult to find ourselves together under one roof like this. But for this very important occasion, I believe everybody made it a point to be excited today to have someone like you talk digital to my understanding. So I understand that people like you in your office are on the same page with us when it comes to trying to move from analog to digital. So if a person like you is speaking about streaming platforms as against somebody in your position asking me about what a streaming platform is, then I believe we are in better days. So I'm just going to commend you for how learned you are in that aspect, in that area. And as Mr. Digital, if you are going to take creative arts as part of the things that you're going to digitalize, then I am happy to hear how you're going to do it. Thank you very much.
And what happens is that the amount of money that is collected in general from radio stations that we have been struggling to collect is good. And then if you have 8 albums, you are in category A. If you have 10 albums, you are B in that order. So what that system is actually the reason why you hear an artist having a higher rotation of song on airwave, and then he gets 150 Ghana cedis when they are sharing. Because that every radio station that comes there to renew license, you come with a certificate that you are paying your royalties before you renew your license. This way, we will solve this issue of government taking any remedial house to court. It's as simple as that, because until government is able to receive, they cannot pay. The next thing I want to also add, government is suffering from administration difficulties. The country, Ghana, is growing, Your Excellency, and in your talk, you saw the way Ghana is growing. And we need to segment government into municipal offices, Kumasi, Tabmale, all these areas, so that they can have capacity and resources to collect money. Government does not have offices. The highest they have is the one they have at the ministry there, and then in Kumasi. And these are mushroom miniature offices with only barely like 4 computers sitting there. Look at the number and the hit these musicians are making. How can they be able to use these offices to collect money and pay to these creators? So if we are dealing with this issue, we need to have a proper team so that we can sit down with technical system and then come up with a plan to see how we can fight with survive Ghana. Either than that, it will still be a continental degree. Thank you.
I want to say thank you very much for calling all of us here and trying to help our industry. God bless you for considering that. You said a lot about music. I'm a music producer. Recently, I saw what Shatta Wale was doing, helping the youth, some young, beautiful, with his own pocket money. So we have done it. I mean, I've done it over 200 and something times. I feel like there should be some financial institution that will be able to help our industry, from people who are not coming, new talents and the rest, can go there and get some sort of grant or loan or soft loan that they can actually kickstart their careers. To be able to go, because not everybody can own a studio. It's expensive. So, and if you say I'm going to build one studio for everybody to work there, that's impossible. The amount of artists we have now is too much. So probably also empower the already existing studios, you know, and say, look at here, if we do this for you, or Kewa and that, you guys are going to give this to the up and coming artists for this price, because government is also helping you with a certain grant, so that people can kickstart, you know, their careers and become great. Because usually it's about the money. Like somebody said, the promotion, apart from the studio, you need to promote the song, so much trouble. So I think it's something worth considering that, you know, that will help. I'll be very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we'll take the responses and then we'll come back for the next set.
Yes, thank you very much for those questions. I'll take them in the order in which they were asked. I think we started with Livingston, who was looking at how we enhance the lives of the creative arts media. And I think that generally speaking, it's very important because you are in one industry, and this all that we are trying to do is to really enhance the lives of the whole
services in terms of travel, but it was tailored to the musicians and the actors. The media plays a great role in terms of promoting Ghana when there are musicians like Shatta Wale, Prince David Osei, and the rest travel outside. We realize that, sorry? No, he's an actor. So we realize that most of the time when their counterparts come to Ghana, what happens is that if a musician or an actor is coming to Ghana, we see a lot of media interact with them. But unfortunately for us, when our artists are going outside, we have a lot of creative arts media here. We cannot go with them because of visa issues or any other issues that comes with it. What will your government do to change that narrative for us?
Is that I have been focusing on, one of the things that we see is that as a developing country, as an African country, we seem to be locked out of a lot of international commerce in one way or the other. Why do I say this? I mean, in terms of dealing with international commerce, PayPal, for example, we don't have access to PayPal. And many content creators, I've heard, have even got monies locked up in PayPal. And when you use PayPal, your money actually sits outside Ghana. It doesn't sit inside Ghana. And so since around 2017, 2018, I've been engaging with PayPal at the very highest levels to say, look, Ghana, we're doing so many things, but we seem to be blacklisted. They've blacklisted us in that sense. But I was teasing. I said, how can you have Nigeria have PayPal and we don't have PayPal? And so we had a good laugh over it and all. But in all seriousness, we've been trying to get Ghana to have that blacklisting taken off, and we've not been able to be successful. We've gone far, but not quite there. And so one of the things that we started working with the Bank of Ghana and Gibbs to look for alternatives, so that because once you are producing, content, music, and so on, you're getting paid and so on, it's very, very important how you do it. So we are coming up with an alternative of sorts where we have got an agreement to do cards which are co-badged. So MasterCard, Union Pay, and Discover have all agreed. So we will now be able to link the Ghana Link card with MasterCard, Discover, or Union Pay. And so that you don't need, so that when you're doing international transactions, the Union Pay, MasterCard, or PayPal will kick in. And if it's the domestic, the card will be used in that, so that you can receive your payments that for the content that you are creating through the international section also. So that is something that we will be also announcing very soon, so that you can have access into the international e-commerce. Thank you so much. The Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, an MP for Second D, an incoming MP again for Second D, CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, members of GAMRO, Ghana Hotels Association, tour operators, fashion designers, film producers, the Actors Guild, music producers and publishers, the creative and tourism journalists and critics, content creators, Association of Writers, radio hosts and presenters, painters and artists, hairstylists union, models union, and visual artists, and all other protocols observed. I'd like to thank all of you for making the time, because you are all very busy people, to have this interaction this evening. We should have really had this interaction much earlier than this, and timing and scheduling prevented this. I was in Bono East region yesterday and came in today to have a meeting. And one of the meetings that I was to have today, when we were looking, was with GAMRO and also music and producers, music producers. We were going to meet, they were going to give me an update why the notice was pretty short for you. So I'm most grateful for you taking that time to be here. The creative arts and tourism sectors are, of course, very critical sectors for our economy. They employ very high numbers of people. And in terms of economic growth for a developing country such as Ghana, it's very clear that these are sectors that we really need to pay attention to if we are going to deal with the issues of economic growth and job creation. They are really growth poles. Unfortunately, over the years, these are sectors where there has been really a lot of underinvestment in over the years. And like with everything else, if you don't invest, if you don't sow and you don't nurture, you cannot harvest of anything of significance. And so I think that as I think forward about what we do in this sector, it's very important that we sow and we nurture before we can harvest from the sector. What is very clear and that is established is that we have a huge talent pool in the creative arts sector for Ghana. And God has also given us a lot of sun, beaches, and other tourist sites in this country that we can also leverage on for tourism. So it is very important, therefore, that for any government we need to recognize, and I think our government has you've seen some of the investments that we've been making over the last few years. We've recognized, and it's important that we recognize even more the importance of investing in the creative arts and in tourism. So we are going to commit a significant public sector investment to support the development of the creative arts and tourism in our country, because I believe that the returns to that investment in terms of job creation is so much better and so big. If I put, say, $100 million worth of investment in the road, and I put $100 million worth of investment in the creative arts sector, I'm telling you that the returns will be higher in the creative arts sector. Much higher. And you will build a lot more, create a lot more jobs and so on. And when you look at the sort of investments that we make annually, and then you look at what we put into the creative arts sector, it's very minimal in that context. So I want to make a commitment to a significant public sector investment in the creative arts and tourism, and also bringing in the financial muscle of the Development Bank of Ghana, which was established a few years ago under our tenure to implement a special financing and guarantee support for the sector to support the creation of jobs in this area. And I think it's very important that we get the financial system involved in supporting the sector, and that is what I intend to do. What is also, and what has been clear to me, and in my interaction with many of you in the music area and also in the film area, we face a problem for our musicians here. There's a lot of talent, our actors and so on. There's a lot of talent, no doubt. But there's a problem in the monetization of the talent. That is the problem. How do we monetize the talent? You make a good song, and we all dance to it and sing it all over the place. But as we enjoy all of that music or watch all of those films, the payments that are supposed to go to the creators don't take place. And so, whilst on the one hand, we are in the public are enjoying all of this creativity, the musicians and the actors are not getting paid. And so that talent is not getting monetized. And so you can see that we could play your song and then keep playing it across the radios and all of that. But then you end up poor, nonetheless, in your old age. And so this has been a major issue, and we've had a lot of discussions with GAMRO on how we can make sure we can monetize and monitor and monetize this talent. The other area that we have been talking about over the last couple of years has been the streaming platforms for music. If you look at it, and I know all the musicians here know this, Ghana we don't own a streaming platform locally for music. So all the streaming platforms like Spotify and so on are all externally owned. And so when we put our music on those platforms, it's not surprising that the returns in terms of the payments that are made to our musicians are very little, and they are not much to write home about in general. And so the issue for us of making sure we have a streaming platform locally for music and put in all the catalogs from A to Z that we can find in Ghana on the platforms. That has been something that has needed to be done for a long time. And so we've been working on this issue. Musica, GAMRO, the music producers, and the private sector, the IT sector. We've been trying to, over the last couple of years, see about putting together a music streaming platform, digital platform for Ghanaian content developers in the creative arts, as I said, to facilitate the tracking, collection, and distribution of royalties in the first place, and also to enable creativeness and assess and manage revenue, and also to help maximize opportunities. So that is a very, very important part. I had a meeting today, as I said, one of the meetings I was to have today was to get an update and we'll take some decisions on the streaming platform. On the streaming platform, I am very happy to let you know that the work has been completed. The work has been completed, and we have joint work between Musica, Gamro, the music producers, and the private sector, and it has been completed. And we are going to support this and make sure that we take care of the development expenses related to this platform for the industry. So in all, I think today I was satisfied after the various presentations that were made to me that we are ready to outdoor this new local streaming platform for Ghanaian musicians and for musicians. So I think in all likelihood next month, which is the month of November, we will launch Ghana's first local streaming platform. We are going to also look at the issue of royalties, and the Gamro platform will be the next one, and I believe that very soon we are going to be announcing that one as well, so that they can also make sure that all the artists get their shares of the royalties properly. So that work is also very, very, very far advanced, and I expect that we'll also support the expenses in the development of that platform, and we'll make the announcement very soon. But I think that it's really very, very important because without taking control of these particular vehicles for the streaming of music, you can't get enough out of the revenue for your own talent. Monetization of that talent is not there. I mean, one of the things that we've seen recently, the taxi drivers, I've seen Shatta Wale here. One of the things recently that the taxi drivers came to complain about is that they were getting pushed out by Uber and Yango and Bolt and all of that. And we didn't have local digital platforms for our local taxis to compete effectively with these. And then you see the Ubers and the Bolts and so on, they are charging commissions as high as 28%. You know, so it's very, very high, and therefore we've come together and we've done a digital platform for the local taxi drivers as well. So we will launch it before the end of this month. But I think these are, for me, I believe that we need to take control over some of these vehicles to be able to maximize the returns from that. I will be introducing a lot of tax incentives to stimulate private sector investments in the creative arts and tourism, in conference parks and so on, so that we can, with tax incentives, we are going to really get a lot more done in these sectors. The Ghana tax system generally is a complicated one. And you tend to see, whether it's the hotels, at the conference centers and so on, I see complaints, a lot of complaints, which we've had over the years companies versus GRA, and when they audit these companies, and the tax system tends to be a little complicated. So I asked my team to do some research on looking for the most competitive tax systems in the world. And it came out that the most competitive for the last 10 years in a row, the number one country in the world has been Estonia. That's every year they are number one in terms of tax competitiveness. So I was curious and we looked at it, and I took my team, took the finance ministry, took the GRA and all of that, and we went to Estonia to look at what they had done. And of course they were